The topic of equipment prioritization and location of reloads on a belt or a vest came up a couple times. So I thought I'd just do a quick little video about my belts, gun belts. And maybe there might be something that I'll pass on that might help people understand something or think of things a little differently. Right off the bat, I've been wearing gun belts since the late 1900s. Started with leather Sam Browne duty belts, eventually went to an Aries gear, which that by itself was such an improvement. A nylon, and working for an agency allows for that. It's a great improvement. From there, I tried out the Bear Solutions gun belt. And with that, one of the things I like to do is I like to have my work belt and my training belt be somewhat similar, if not as similar as possible. So I like have orientation of magazines in the same place, guns in the same place. Other stuff is there's some similarities, just so I'm training and maintaining my norms. I don't have to do things unusually for one belt versus the other. For training belts, I've gone with the old school padded war belt. And I figured, that's adding additional weight that's just not needed. I'll just go with something a little more slimline. So going into the Bear belts. This right here is the internal belt, and I've been using these for several years now, and they've been absolutely wonderful. Absolutely love these. The thing about this also is it is a Velcro belt. It has a Velcro exterior where your gun belt winds up interfacing with. But it's also, this inner belt is also somewhat padded, and that's really nice to have. One of the issues I've run into with this kind of system is going off to training with my gun belt, my training belt, and forgetting I need to also bring this, because this really enhances the wear of it. So it's a system. It works well. So I'm not going to talk about my duty belt. I'm just going to talk about my training belt today. And this mass of plastic and nylon and some steel is my training belt. So starting out with the gun side, typically what I do on my duty belt. So this would be about 1 o'clock typically. Typically also I like to have my holster a little forward of the hips. One of the things I like to do is right next to where the buckle would be. I like to keep my keys. I usually have some kind of a key holder. Piece of Velcro here is wrapped around just to keep the Cobra buckle fairly short. I've been using one of these short, so that's like a flex adapter and a short drop. That's just been comfortable. It's just been easier to use. And I understand these recently went under some scrutiny. Having a UBL, or not a UBL, a QLS type system where you can remove the holster has been especially beneficial. The reason being I have multiple guns. Sometimes things get swapped out, and it's nice to maintain the belt and just swap out the holster. And Glock 47, what are these? Dawson Precision. Behind the gun, but not interfering with the draw, multi-tool. And then the back of my belt is pretty much blank. I don't want anything on the back, because if I were to fall backwards onto my back, there's the potential of having some form of injury. I personally want to avoid that, so I keep my back open. At about my 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish, I have a semi-rigid, hey, cool, I'm finding weapon lights. Semi-rigid dump pouch. Dump pouches are incredibly helpful for spare mags, empty mags, you name it. And also loose ammo. It's nice to be on the range and be able to top off mags while I'm waiting to shoot. One of the things also with this Velcro system, so again, have Velcro on the inside of the belt, and it interfaces with that inner belt. I still use traditional keepers to hold the belt in place. And this is just old habit, but I still at least have one keeper on my gun side just to make sure that the gun stays where it is. I do have a fixed blade, this Dauntless. Why do I have a fixed blade on a training belt? Open cases, cases of ammo, cut all kinds of things, and needing sometimes to make impromptu improvements to range things such as targets or stands, building things. It's kind of nice. I also have gloves that are just on a carabiner. It sucks when you need to have gloves and you don't have them readily available. Most of the time, if I'm wearing something like this, it's at training. So I just keep them on my belt. It doesn't hurt me to keep them there. Dark Angel Medical, one of the dark kits, just keep that on the belt. And that is roughly, well, that's roughly about 9 o'clock-ish on my body. Going forward, I have a fast mag right here. The nice thing about having the fast mag here is this is providing a rifle mag for me on my belt. Additionally, the way these work is if I'm not running anything rifle, I can fit a mag, and maybe even two, depending on the gun, as a temporary area so I can backfill my main mag pouch. Now, front forward is a triple. On my duty rig, I have a double of mag pouch, but I like to have my magazines consistently on my belt, not on my vest for handgun, because I want that system to be all complete. So here's my logic. I'm going to training. I'm not doing anything with a plate carrier. I'm not doing anything with any form of vest. I'm just shooting handgun. If I don't have mags on my belt, reloads are going to be difficult. And I'm not always, I don't always want to throw on a plate carrier. I don't always want to wear the vest. Sometimes just wearing the belt for a super hot day or just light training, having everything on one, this is my pistol solution. Yeah, I do have the ability to have a spare rifle mag there if I need to, but for the most part, rifle mags I keep on a plate carrier or chest rig. Additionally, for patrol use, a spare mag I would keep in my my door, grab it, throw in a back pocket, and grab the rifle and go. Not grabbing whole bits of or whole systems of equipment, because for that type of stuff, time's kind of important. Time's it's a precious commodity that we do not have control over. So one of the things also I did with the mag pouches, and I'll show you here if I can open this Cobra buckle. There it goes. Because you have this wide void right here on the back of the mag pouch, what this removes is the ability for the inner belt to adhere right here and hold this up on my belt. So this would essentially sag, not snag on my belt. So what I did was I put Velcro that matches this Velcro here. So essentially what this does is this helps lock onto the belt. It's just more support for additional weight. That is pretty much the belt. So again, this goes out to cops or people that are running external vests. Throw that belt on a water bottle and it makes all kinds of noise. If you're throwing your mags on your vest and you don't have pistol mags on your vest and you don't have pistol mags on your belt, your dry fire routines, your all kinds of other things are kind of hindered, especially if you do any training without your support equipment or without your duty vest. I do a lot of shooting. I shoot sometimes, like going to training, I'll put on that training vest, or excuse me, that training belt, and I'm perfectly fine for a pistol class. I don't need to add or wear additional items of equipment to support my handgun. So that's pretty much it. That's just the way I do things. But I've weighed that. I personally don't have an issue with having the weight of the magazines or the space that it takes up on my belt, because ultimately that frees up things on my vest, and I don't need my vest to carry absolutely everything. There are still things I can keep on my body. or on my belt. So that is all. I think I will end it now. We'll talk to you later.